Okay, so I actually mentioned this quickly before, so I figured it's a good thing to play out. It's a relatively easy sugya, and since you're all tired, we will go through it. What I want to do is analyze the uniqueness of etrog, of arba minim, in light of the general obligation that we have for hiddur mitzvah. So what is the chiyuv of hiddur mitzvah in general?
It should be pretty.
Good, right? That you should make mitzvahs beautiful. Where do we derive it from?
Right,
very good. Very good. It's the Gemara in Shabbos Kufim Gimel, where the Brisa cites, right, this is number 10, Titania, Ze Eli ve'anvehu, this is my God, and I will. So what does that word mean?
Beautify.
So one possibility is that the Gemara is taking is that it means beautify from what shoresh? Right, or noi, right? Like noi, like the noye sukkah, the decorations of the sukkah, right? Exactly. Now what else might it mean?
Please.
So
like please your God. Like no.
So what is nun ve vav hey? What is a naveh?
Like a prophet.
No, that's a navi, and with a vet. What's with a vav? Naveh is a house, a home, right? So, yes, exactly, right? So another way of interpreting this is, I will
build you a home.
Yes, build you a home. And therefore, the other drush in Chazal is va'anvehu means I will build a Beit HaMikdash, right? I will make a naveh for you, right? I will in-house you. I don't know what that word is in English, right? I will
for the Shekhinah.
But for hiddur mitzvah, the drasha is hitna'eh lifanav b'mitzvot. Right, make yourself beautiful in front of him in mitzvot.
Can you just mean both?
What?
Can you just mean both?
Yeah, it can mean both. But this is this is the source. Aseh lifanav sukana'eh. I mean, it gets into slight problems of whether you can derive two things from one pasuk, but that's a broader discussion. Make a beautiful sukkah, v'lulav na'eh, shofar na'eh, tzitzit na'eh, sefer torah na'eh, right? All those things, right? Nice sukkah, lulav, shofar, tzitzis, sefer torah, v'chatuv bo l'shmo b'dio na'eh, write it for red l'shma, which we'll get to hopefully at some point, with nice ink, b'kulmus na'eh, with a good quill, bilavlar, uman, v'karcho b'shirayin na'in, right? An expert sefer, all of my sofrim, all my expert sofrim, and sew it nicely, right? Good. So there is always a mitzvah in kol hadar kula of hiddur mitzvah.
Well, this says lulav, but it doesn't mention etrog.
Oh, good. Hold the thought. Okay? It mentions lulav, it doesn't mention etrog. Now, by etrog, the possibility exists that the obligation to make it beautiful is distinct from the general obligation of hiddur mitzvah. So, what is the source in the Torah for taking the arba minim?
Good.
Good. You want to read it?
Sure. Take for you Bayam Arishon on the first day, 3 hadar, the etrog fruit. Kapot temarim, you weren't sure we said the hadassim?
No. Lulav, thank you.
Right.
The leaves of the date palm. Date fronds, I think they're called, right? Palm fronds, right? Palm fronds. Yeah.
The anaf, it's avot.
That's the hadassim.
Hadassim, the arvei nachal, and the aravot. Smachtem lefnei Hashem Elokechem shiva simim. Should be happy in front of your God for 7 days.
Good. Now, the question in the Rishonim hangs on this magical word for etrog, because where does the Torah ever say you have to take an etrog?
Never.
Never. It says you have to take a pre-eitz hadar, right?
A beautiful fruit.
It's a beautiful fruit, which we understand to mean in etrog. Now, what is the relationship between an etrog and this quality that the Torah describes it with of hadar?
It has an appealing view and it has a nice smell.
So, but what is it? What is the relationship between that word and etrog? There are two fundamentally different ways you could go. One is that it is definition, right? It's a descriptor. Well, what do you mean by descriptor? Let's be very careful.
These are these words describe an etrog specifically,
Meaning definitional.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning one possibility is that hadar means that it is the definition of an etrog. Right?
One is that an etrog falls under this category.
Now the other one is that, well, that's right, meaning there are definitional
One
elements.
is like the definition of
Is it-
etrog is hadar,
Right?
or one is that etrog is in this category of hadar.
Meaning what?
Of beautiful foods. Like,
Well,
it's
let's
not-
tell you
it's
the
not
other way is that
it's not exclusive to etrog itself.
Oh, okay. The other possibility is that, right, it's not about definition, it's that etrog has a quality, right? It's not that it defines it, it is, right, a quality of, right? Now, okay. So let us analyze this through the vantage point of the question of the dry lulav and the dry etrog, okay? So the Mishnah in Sukkah tells us that lulav hagazul v'hayavesh, right? Yeah, I know that helps very much. Close the door, but the window, there are no walls. Very, very, very
Do
good.
as much as possible.
Yeah, great. So lulei, there is like a lot of guys sick, and then a end of Zman lethargy. So I'm just having shir with my guys, but like a bunch of people are sick. Like Captain 49 apparently is sick, and
They're being punished. You're 49, right? Punished.
I am.
For what happened to Shimon. It's God's retribution.
it's pre Yom Kippur. God is giving them
Right.
Yisurim.
Right.
Very
What happened to you is
unfortunate.
you're a good guy, but the other ones,
Remember your book is on the back.
I'll let them know.
Okay, what happened?
No, please, no.
There's a lot of people sick, but then you'll see there's like a lethargy. So, anyways, okay. So, lulav hagazul v'hayavesh pasul. If you have a stolen lulav, which is a fascinating sugya in and of itself, which is mitzvah b'avera.
It says it will cost them that.
Well, there's two problems. One is not lachem; it's also mitzvah b'avera. I don't want to talk, but that's a huge sugya.
Getting over
Mitzvah b'avera, meaning
Right.
after you steal something, it may be yours, but
We kind of brought that up earlier.
Vayavesh, or if you have a dried out lulav, pasul. Etrog gozul vayavesh, pasul.
Makes sense.
Okay. So now if I asked you from the Mishnah, well, just simple here. Is a dried out lulav, how pasul is it? Or dried out etrog, how pasul is it?
Puzzle.
Pasul, what does pasul mean?
Can't use it.
Good, you can't use it. What if you have nothing else?
That's only in the first day.
Too bad, right?
It's only in the first day.
Oh. So some of the psulim of
If it
lulav and
dries
etrog
out
are only on the
after.
first day, some of them are for the entire
You're
time.
not a borrow one on the last day.
Correct. Certain halachot are only the first day, certain are not.
Like
Good.
a thing with estrog,
So-
you can like eat it after the first day, right? Or somebody holds that.
So
You like-
there are different. Again, there are different. We can't go into every psul, but certain psulim of lulav and etrog apply the whole time, and certain ones don't. Lachem only applies on the first day. Correct. Right. Certain other ones do not. Okay, but let's analyze this Gemara for a moment. So the Gemara then tells this halacha. Who wants to read this nice long passage in the Gemara?
Oh, it's such a
read it.
confusing tomorrow.
Yeah, go.
Hot none where we learn Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda says, Yaginu. Oh no, wait.
Yavesh pasul.
Wait. Oh yeah, sorry.
Tana. Yavesh pasul.
Okay. Tana. Yavesh pasul. If it's dried out, it's pasul. Rabbi Yehuda Machshir. Rabbi Yehuda says it's kosher. Amar Rabba says machlokes belolav. There's machlokes belolav. The Rabbanan, sorry, the rabbis hold makshinin lulav estrogma.
My etrog by hadar.
Are they saying like lulav is like estrog?
Right, we compare halachically,
Right.
meaning,
Yeah.
right, we equate halachically lulav to etrog.
Estrog by hadar. Estrog has to be pretty. Af lulav by hadar, and lulav doesn't have to be pretty.
Good. Okay, so Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, well, let's just read the next line.
Rabbi Yehuda savar lo makshin lulav estrog. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold, doesn't compare lulav to estrog. Ava ba estrog divrei hakol hadar beinan. Estrog has to be pretty the whole time.
Good. Everyone agrees that it needs to be hadar. Okay, so now let me ask you the question, right? It's clear, what's absolutely clear is that hadar helps us define etrog. But the second question is hadar also a quality of the etrog? What do the Chachamim clearly think? Is hadar not just the way that we happen to figure out the definition of etrog, but is it also a quality of etrog?
Yes.
Yes, how do I know?
They say etrog by
No. How do I know? According to the Chachamim.
Oh, because they say you learn it out from.
Correct. Meaning, if it was only the definition, meaning hadar tells us that it's a beautiful fruit, but not that it actually has to be beautiful. It's the fruit that's normally beautiful. It gives it its definition, right? But it's not also a quality that the etrog must possess. A quality. Could you compare it to lulav? No! If it was just about the definition, if it was just the way in which we figure out what the etrog is, meaning it's that thing which is normally hadar, but it's not a quality that the etrog must have in addition, then you can't share it with lulav, right? You can't share a definition.
Because lulav has to have both?
No, because you can't share definitions.
Why not?
Because the lulav isn't a pre-eitz hadar. It's just not, right? To share hadar from etrog to lulav means that in addition to it defining the etrog, it is a necessary quality which theoretically can therefore be shared. Right? Right? Meaning, I'll give you an example. Right? When you read the back of a bottle of wine, right? It will say it has light hints of citrus. Right? Right? Light hints of citrus. Now, what does it mean? When it says it has light hints of citrus, does it mean, right? If by citrus you mean the definition, this fruit is an orange or a lemon or a whatever, does the wine have hints of citrus?
Yeah.
No, because there's no orange in it. Right? How can they justify? How can they justify saying it's citrus? What do they mean?
Citrus.
Right, meaning in addition to the definition, is this or is this not an orange, right, or a lemon or any other citrus fruit, there's a second thing, there's a quality called being citrusy, right? So an orange is citrusy in two ways. It is both actually a member of the group called citrus fruit, like definitional, and it also has a taste which is generally associated with the citrus family. The definition cannot be shared with a grape. Right? A grape is not a citrus fruit. Wine is not a citrus fruit. Right? But the quality of citrusness can be shared. Right? This can taste like an orange, even if it's not definitionally an orange. So now come back to etrog. If you think hadar is the way that we define the fruit, and that's it, then what fruits does it apply to?
Just
etrogim. That's it. It is not a quality, and therefore cannot be shared.
Right. If it's just.
But if it is also a quality,
then you could shake a pomegranate on that.
right? Then you can say that a pomegranate can have hadarness, even though it is not a pre-eitz hadar. Right? It is not citrus, but it shares light overtones or undertones or hints of cotton candy. I don't know.
I hold like a Buddha who says it's just a quality, and just bring a pomegranate.
No, because it's clearly So now you go to the flip question. Is it only a quality? And the answer is no, it's clearly not only a quality, it's also definitional, right?
Well, if it's definitional, then it's not a quality.
No, I just said.
You can't say it's a quality and then call it definitional to the fruit.
Not true. Citrus. It is both definitional to an orange and a quality that the orange has. And you can share the quality, but you can't share the definition.
So how can you... but then you're still learning it out from... because you're not learning it out from lulav, because it itself is fine.
Right? If you want to learn out lulav from it, it has to be that shareable quality. It can't be the definition.
Right.
The wine is not orange juice. Right? Maybe that's sharper, right? The wine is not orange juice.
Right.
But it may have hints of citrus. Because the citrus quality of the orange is twofold. One is that it's definitionally a citrus fruit. Right? Right? Therefore, if you have a citrus fruit that goes bad and therefore tastes like mold, right? Is it still a citrus fruit?
Yes.
Yes. Does it taste citrusy? No, right? Meaning it can go in either direction. Right? Something can have, right, or artificial flavoring. Right? I have orange ice cream. Right? It has 0% orange in it. Right? It is citrus flavored. Right? Okay. So the Rabbanan hold clearly that the quality of hadar is not only definitional, it is also a quality that can therefore be shared. Rabbi Yehuda, who says lo makshin lulav etrog, right?
Says it's
So it's unclear. He either thinks it is a quality, but a quality which is not shareable, or he thinks that it's only definitional, and therefore it stays with etrog, and that's it. But what's the problem? Why would I want to say that for Rabbi Yehuda, it's not only definitional, but it's an unshareable quality? Why might I think that that's what Rabbi Yehuda means?
Because he explains that it has to happen all the time.
Good, because if hadar was only a definition, then would a rotted etrog be good?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Right? And that's why I would say, right, it sounds like that for the Chachamim, hadar is definitional and a quality and a shareable quality. For the Rabbi Yehuda, there's also two components, which is it defines the fruit. Right? That's why you can't bring a pomegranate. But it also, the fact that we define the etrog as a pre-eitz hadar also means that it has essential qualities, namely that it must maintain its hadarness. Right? Otherwise, it is invalid. But those are both localized. So the Gemara says "Uvululav lo by hadar," right? So continue. Actually, you know what? Before you move on, now how do I know for sure that hadar is not only a quality and is also definitional? Right? I've taken that as a given. Why do I know that? How do I know that it's also definitional?
Because if you read the pasuk, that's just what it sounds like.
Well, or to put it differently, because the pasuk calls it pre-eitz hadar, and that's all the information it gives it, and we have to get from that to an etrog and not a pomegranate, which means that it is at least definitional, right? Because somehow we get from the word pre-eitz hadar to etrog.
Right, but you can still say it's qualitative. But
So look at now. It also happens to be that I have a Gemara. The Gemara is number 11. This is the Gemara in Lamed Hey. If you want to turn to Lamed Hey, you can look at it, or you can look at what I put here, right? Because the Gemara is going to go through this exercise that we just did, which is Tana Rabbanan, pre-eitz hadar. What is the pre-eitz hadar? You can look at it in 11. Pre-eitz hadar. Eitz shetam upirio shaveh. The tree that what? The bark and the fruit have an equivalent taste, meaning there's a citrusy taste to the bark itself. Have the omer zeh etrog, which is by the way true. That not only of etrog happens to be that there is a citrusy taste to the bark. Right? Bark can have taste. Give me an example. Thank you. Right. I was good. Right. I was about to say, prove to me that bark can have a taste, and his answer was cinnamon. He's correct. Right.
Maple tree, the bark.
No, it's not bark. That's the sap.
No, but the bark also. Oh no, that's the sap in the bark.
Yes, but by cinnamon, it's right. The taste is only in the bark, right? But by citrus, is actually true. Yes. Okay. So the Gemara says now from this line of the Gemara, does it sound like pre-eitz hadar is a definition or a quality, a set of things that contain hadarness?
A set.
No, the first line. Have omer zeh etrog. It is definitional. And what's the immediate question going to be in the Gemara? You can predict it, which is, how do you know it's a definition? Maybe it's a quality that can therefore include other things. And the Gemara says, ve'ema pilpulin. Maybe it's pepper, because pepper, every part of the pepper
Tastes the same.
is hot. Right? A little bit more hot, a little bit less hot. Pepper, everything.
Even the brain? Like
Correct. Correct. Says Kidditanya, Yerim Meir Omer, Mimasha Shnemar Netatim Kol Eitin Yudishu Eitz Machal, Matam Lomer Eitz Machal, Eitz Shetam Eitzo Perio Shaveh Omer Zepilpulin. Right? That peppers also have this quality.
Ooh, so I could use some pepper.
So the Gemara then answers, Rebbe Omer, Al Tikri Hadar Ella Hadir. Don't read Hadar Ella Hadir. What is Hadir?
The door.
What?
The door.
What is Hadir?
Apartment.
Okay, good. So what does that mean?
It's a definition.
Let me find it for you here.
Definition of a specific thing.
Yeah, good. Now where is it? Lamadei.
I'm going to come and show hot pepper.
Fine.
Painted like greenish yellow. Yeah.
Here, Hadir. Sorry, I cut off some of it. Right? Ma dir ze yesh bo gedolim uktanim tmimim b'alimim. So dir is a living place, but in this case, in Hebrew, what is it? It refers to something specific. A living place for animals. It's a pen. And he says, what is a pen? A pen has big and small. Right? Baby animals, big animals. Do most trees have big fruit and small fruit?
Yes.
No. They all grow at the same time. So they are small, but not by significant amounts. What's the exception? An etrog. Why? Because they stay on for years. Right? They don't fall. It's not perennial.
Yeah, but avocado.
Good, so it's not the only one. It's not, one second. So then the Gemara says, right, right, and what we define is therefore, it is that fruit which has big and small on the tree at the same time. So then Rabbi Yomer, al tikri hadar, ella, right, dar, adavar shedar bi'ilano mishana lashana. It's something that stays on the tree from year to year. Ben Azai Omer, and Ben Azai then it gives another one, al tikri hadar, ella, Idur or hiddur shekain b'lashon Yavani karin lemayim idur ve'ezu shegadol kol mayim ve'omer it's etrog. It says alternatively comes from the Greek, which means water, because it right, it has a different way of right, it has a different way of drawing water. It lives on kol mayim. Okay,
On what?
al kol mayim. Right, it grows with any water, meaning all the time.
Any trees?
No.
Specific water to water trees?
Well, some are, meaning it doesn't grow at all times of the year, right? Etrog just keeps any water, it just keeps growing.
Oh, it grows all year round.
Right, just right.
Avocado trees don't eat.
No.
I have no idea.
Depends on the climate.
No, so in their climate, most trees are perennial, right? They grow at certain times, whatever. Anyways,
But that tree does not.
but okay.
If you put a
Guys,
tree in like a good climate, it'll grow the whole year, no matter what tree.
Not true.
You're saying you can grow an etrog tree in Canada?
What? No, that's not what I said. Right? It needs good climate, but even something in its climate, it has seasons. Right? Etrog doesn't have a season. Right? It'll grow at any time, no matter how much. Right? It just, and it needs more. Anyways, second. In the next Amud. Okay, but from this Gemara, at any rate, right, without getting too much caught up in each detail, what is it clear in this Gemara? In this Gemara, is hadar a definition or a quality? It's a definition, right? It's looking, right, so hadar is definitely at least a definition, or the Ramban is even clearer in 12. Ki ha'ilan hanikra b'lashon aramit, etrog nikra shmo b'lashon hakodesh hadar. He just says, the pshat is, not like the Gemara, the Ramban says the pshat is, that this is all asmachtas. What's the real pshat according to the Ramban? That hadar in Hebrew just means etrog. You just didn't know that. Right? The pri etzadar means etrog. Right? Ki perish etrog chemda. So it's clear that etrog at least means, hadar rather, means etrog. The question is, does it also have a quality, and is that quality like shareable the way that, citrus overtones, undertones, whatever are for wine?
Does it have to be a citrus fruit or?
I'm giving that as an example. Okay, con candy, okay?
Does it have to be like?
I mean, lahalacha, yes, it's
Does
an
the
etrog.
etrog have to be in the citrus?
Lahalacha, it's an etrog. Right, yes.
Okay.
Right, because it has all these different qualities. Okay, go.
Dang it, I can't shake it off.
So now, going back to the Gemara we started with, the number 3. So the Gemara says about Tanan. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Yagdenu. Right. So sorry. Lulav lo bay Rabbi Yehuda hadar. Does Rabbi Yehuda not think you need hadar? But Tanan Rabbi Yehuda Omer Yagdenu milamala. But Rabbi Yehuda holds that you have to tie. Put that away. Rabbi Yehuda says you have to tie it, the lulav at the top. My time alav mishum de boy hadar. Doesn't that prove that you need hadar? So he says lo. Kitani time Rabbi Yehuda Omer mishum b'tarpon kapot marim. Kapot, v'maya parud yachtefenu. No, it has to be kapot tamarim, right? Like a, right? And if it spreads out, that's not a kapot tamarim. It's not like a, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. So he keeps going back. V'lo bayadar does not need beauty. V'atanan ein ogden lulav el bimino. You're only allowed to wrap a lulav with its species. Divrei Yehuda. My taima la mishum devay hadar isn't because you need hadar. Right? That's why you have to wrap it. Lo, damarabba fil b'siva fil beker dedikla. No, you could wrap with anything. Fine. So what does he need to wrap it? A different halacha because he needs you to wrap it. Fine. And then the Gemara says, Uve esrog mi by Rabbi Yehuda hadar? Do you need hadar by esrog? Now that's a shocking question. Why is that a shocking question?
It says.
So what's the Gemara asking? Maybe hadar is only a definition and not a quality at all, meaning like the rotted orange, which is citrus even if not citrusy. The Gemara now, its next question is, Mi by Rabbi Yehuda hadar? Does Rabbi Yehuda think you need hadar even by esrog? Right, so there what's it clearly saying? Maybe hadar is only a definition and not a quality at all.
If it's asking if you need it, then it's
No, right, it's only a quality. No, sorry, it's only a definition and not a quality.
If it's asking if you need it, then
It's clearly a definition because an esrog is pre-hate hadar.
Why would that be a definition if you're asking if you need it?
The same way a citrus fruit can be non-citrusy. Is an orange definitionally citrus?
Yes.
Yes. What if it's moldy and doesn't taste citrusy?
It's still a citrus.
It's citrus without a quality. It's definitional but not qualitative. Right? There's no quality of citrus, even though it is objectively definitionally citrus. So the Gemara says maybe Rabbi Yehuda only needs an esrog to be definitionally an esrog, but not esrog-y. Right? You can have a non-esrog-y esrog just to give non-orangey orange. Right?
Like a dried ice.
Oh, that's what Gemara says.
So it doesn't need that quality.
So then the Gemara says, "Vatanya arba minin shebelulav kishem shen posam and kachen mosif in land. You can't add, you can't subtract. Lo matzah etrog lo yavi lo parish lo rimon velo davar acher. Right? You can't bring a different fruit. Right? You can't bring a rimon, a pomegranate, but kmushin ksherin yiveshim psulin. Yehuda omer af yiveshin. Right? But if it's dried out, it is invalid. But Yehuda says it is valid. So now the Gemara suggests an even more radical thing, which is maybe it is only definitional and not a quality at all. Not one that can be shared, not even one that it needs.
It's such a money saver.
Right? So the Gemara says, and how does the Gemara know that you can have a dried out esrog? So the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Ma'asev v'nei krachin. There was a story. Shayum morishin lulav and they would bequeath their lulavs to their children and their children's children. But clearly they were dry. It wasn't like matzah that stayed fresh for 2 generations, right? Right? So exactly. So Amru lo misham raya. He says that's not a proof. He said that's not a proof. Ein shasat chak raya. That was a shasat chak. They didn't have other lulavs, so you do things which are right. So Ktani Miyas Yehuda Marafi Veshin Ksherin My Lava Esro. So he says, Yehuda says you can have a dry Arba Minim. Doesn't that include Esrog? And the Gemara answers, no, only lulav.
Wait, we have the story that they.
So the Gemara says, no, that was about the lulav, not the Esrog.
So you can have dried lulav.
B'shas Atchak. Why? Good question. It's really a sugya for another time. Okay, now the Gemara keeps going like this, but now what I want to point out is the following, right? It is clear from the Gemara on Lamed Hey that hadar is at least it's at least definitional. It's like saying an orange is a citrus fruit, right? The second question is it also a quality, right? And this in different ways.
Yeah, but
is it a shareable quality? Who thinks it's a shareable quality? Meaning, just like you can have a citrus wine, you can have a citrus, right? You can have a hadar lulav. Who thinks that? The chachamim, right? The chachamim, and that's why they say that hadar applies to
sefer torah, everything.
To lulav.
Oh, come on.
And according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Gemara has 2 possibilities. One is that it's a quality, meaning an esrog must be both a esrog and esrogi, just like an orange must be citrus and citrusy, right? Meaning a moldy orange would not qualify, right? It is citrus, but it's not citrusy. So possibility 1 is that Rabbi Yehuda says it is both a definition and a quality.
That's not true.
Right? And then the Gemara has a havamina, which it rejects, which is maybe it's only a definition and not a quality, and therefore you could have a dried out esrog. But the Gemara rejects it. So according to the Gemara's maskana, it seems like that according to Rabbi Yehuda,
they said it's a lulav, but it's clearly talking about an esrog.
no, it says lulav, and therefore the It says lulav. And the Gemara says, isn't it also about etrog? The Gemara says, no, tell me about lulav.
Well, the Chachamim say that lulav is.
So l'maskana, it sounds like in the Gemara. According to the Chachamim, the simplest way, according to the Chachamim, hadar is a definition in etrog and a quality which is shareable. Right? In orange is citrus, and the wine has citrus overtones.
So you could have
And therefore, lulav needs hadar. According to Yehuda, it has two possibilities. One, which is it's only definitional, and therefore is a dry etrog kasher.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's only definitional and not a quality. But the Gemara rejects it and says no. For Yehuda, it is quality and definitional, but is it shareable? No. So would Rabbi Yehuda agree that wine can have citrus overtones? No, right? Or can wine have etrog overtones? No, right?
Shake wine.
Lahavdil, right? Now, no one tell me that right?
I still think I can come up with an avocado in because it shares the same qualities of an etrog.
The good shot. And
It grows all
good.
year
And who comes in to answer your question?
It doesn't smell.
The Ramban, who says no, these are all asmachtas. The real rule is that etrog means hadar means etrog.
So I don't like the Rambam. I'm sorry.
You don't like the Rambam?
Okay. But now if I asked you, with everything we've just seen, now that I asked you, I know this is a bit complicated, but here, this was just careful reading of the Gemara, conceptual reading of the Gemara. But now if I asked you, let me push you a little bit farther here. These beautiful qualities, whether you think they're shareable like the Chachamim, or you think they are not shareable like Rabbi Yehuda, do you think that this quality of hadar is unique to Arba Minim, or this is a universal quality of hiddur which is shared by all mitzvah? What would you guess?
It's all. Because we have the mitzvah of hadar. Well, just specific to the Armenian because.
Good. Simple shot is that this is local to the Armenian. Why? Prove it to me.
Because it doesn't mention it by all mitzvahs. It will just say.
Because the Gemara clearly seems to think that what? What does the Gemara clearly seem to think? That whatever hadar is, it is a more demanding standard than regular hiddur mitzvah. Hence, you have a local machlokes, Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim, of how demanding is this going to be on the lulav that I buy, the etrog that I buy. But clearly, right, this is not about the regular run-of-the-mill hiddur mitzvah. This is, whatever standard it is, it sounds like the fact that the Torah chooses to describe etrog, which may only mean etrog, Rabbi Yehuda, or may then be extrapolated to all Arba Minim, that quality is, right, the fact that the Torah goes through, uses the word hadar to describe etrog, teaches us that there is a more demanding standard than regular hiddur mitzvah for etrog and maybe for lulav also.
But there's other mitzvahs that have hadar too as well.
They don't have hadar, they have run-of-the-mill hiddur.
So there's this run-of-the-mill hiddur, and then there's extra performance.
Good, what's the nafkamina? Tell me the nafkamina.
Well, I mean, if it's...
What's the nafkamina between... Why would I tell you... Or you'll tell me this just semantics. No, what's the nafkamina? There's a major nafkamina. What's the major nafkamina? Come on. What's the difference between saying that this principle here is run-of-the-mill hiddur mitzvah versus a unique quality called hadar, which applies only to etrog or to etrog and arba minim because we extrapolate it?
Then we wouldn't just be talking about it.
What's the nafkamina?
No.
Yes, you do. Because we already said it. Is it ma'akev? Right? If you choose to not have a beautiful matzah, you just have a matzah which is kosher, are you yotzei? Yes. If you have a non-hadar esrog, are you yotzei? No. If you have a dried esrog, you're not yotzei. Why? According to the Gemara.
It has to be... It's ma'akev. Beautiful.
Because it's ma'akev. What does that tell you? That the fact that whatever this hadar quality is, it's not run-of-the-mill beautification. It is definitional and essential. Right? To the extent that it is a quality, it is an essential quality. Right? Not, right? Therefore, if it's an essential quality, does that make sense for it to be merely hiddur, which everywhere else is not ma'akev? No. The answer to that is no. Good. There is a problem, because who denies all of this? Who says what? No. And the answer is Rashi. Good. Look at number 8. Rashi says, Yavesh. Why are dried lulav and etrog invalid? Read it. Someone read it to me. Ve'anvehu. Oy vey. What does Rashi do? Rashi takes the entire analysis I tried to build up here and throws it in the garbage. And he says, you know why? It's puzzle to have a dried out lulav and etrog. Ve'anvehu. What's that? Ve'anvehu?
Beautiful.
The run-of-the-mill chiyuv of hiddur mitzvah. Not because of the simple pshat in the Gemara, which is hadar.
Wait, but if it's the run-of-the-mill, then you could use it dried. That's right.
Oh, but it's not. It's ma'akev.
Rashi just...
What's the problem? Who asked that question? Who just says, thank you, Tosfos. Read Tosfos, number 4.
Mishum de itkash lulav la'etrog, dichtiv be hadar v'lo, dichtiv be.
Right, so Tosfos says, why is a lulav hayavesh invalid?
Because it says hadar.
Because it shares that essential quality of hadar with etrog, meaning this is a unique halacha, therefore it is ma'akev. V'lo
kama shapir shekontras mishum dichtiv zakil vanvehu de'en vanvehu alal chachila v'lo mipaso b'hachi demuchachach be'parakama.
Right? He says, so what does Tosfos jump in and say?
That vanvehu is only l'chachila.
Yeah, what are you talking about? The beauty of lulav and etrog are unique to lulav and etrog.
So if you have a dried... So if your etrog got destroyed and you only have a dried etrog, according to this, you would be allowed to...
No!
Oh no, the kachila is
Right?
I got the confused.
Right? And therefore Tosfos says Rashi's crazy. Mapitom. Right? And where does he... And he proves it. Where does he prove it from? He proves it from number 7. In number 7, the Gemara in Daf Yud Aleph says, Man az lahaditanya lulav mitzvah la'agdo v'imlo agdo kasher. Who holds that you should wrap your lulav, but you don't have to? Right? If you don't wrap it, it's kasher. I Rabbi Yehuda kilo agdo amai kasher. Right? Rabbi Yehuda thinks it's ma'akev. Rabbi Yehuda thinks that if you don't tie the lulav and the hadas and the rabbas together, it's not kosher. So the Gemara says it can't be Rabbi Yehuda. And I Rabbanan, on my mitzvah, according to Rabbanan, you don't have to wrap your lulav with the hadas and the rabbos. So why should you do it? Right? You don't have to, so why should you do it at all? So what does the Gemara say? La'olam Rabbanan. The Rabbanan think you should wrap your lulav with hadas and a rabo. So why should you wrap them if it's not ma'akev? Read the next line.
Mishum
Shenemar.
Shenemar Zeh Vanvehu
Hitna lefanav. Oh, good. So what does Tosfos point to that Gemara? What does the Gemara say explicitly? According to Rabbi Yehuda, is igud, is wrapping the lulav definitional?
Yes.
Yes. So if you don't do it, are you yotze?
No.
No. According to the Chachamim, is it ma'akev?
No.
No. So why should you do it at all?
For
Hiddur mitzvah, and the Gemara says explicitly, if it's only hiddur mitzvah, not definitional, is it ma'akev?
No.
No. So Tosfos says, what is Rashi talking about? Right? Meaning, Tosfos is a perfectly beautiful way of reading our Gemara, which is, we know from Daf Lamed Hey that hiddur is at least definition. We learn on Daf Lamed Aleph that the fact that the Torah calls an etrog hadar teaches us that in addition to it defining the etrog, it teaches us that it is an essential quality. Essential. Right? Not additional, but essential. Therefore, and then you have a mechlokas Rabbi Yehuda Chachamim, whether that essential quality only qualifies etrog itself, or is extrapolated to the arba minim. But what's clear according to Rabbi Yehuda? So according to Chachamim, according to Tosfos, within the Chachamim, that anything which is ma'akev must be a localized etrog to lulav halacha called hadar, because anything that's merely regular hiddur mitzvah, which is derived from Ze'eli ve'anvehu, is lechatchila, but not B'di'evet. Right? That's Tosfos' beautiful analysis of the sugya. That there's three things. There's definition, there's essential qualities, and then there is lechatchila b'di'evet hiddur mitzvah. Which fruit is defined by the word hadar? Etrog. Which of the Arba Minim have the essential quality of hadar? According to Tosfos? Come on, you can do this. Etrog according to everybody, and Lulav according to Chachamim and not Rabbi Yehuda. And according to Gemara's Havamina, Rabbi Yehuda might have even denied it from Etrog. Right? Remember, that was the Gemara's Havamina which rejected. Right? That's how Tosfos reads this Gemara. It's a very nice read of the Gemara, right? It's very lumdish. It's very smooth. Who is almost not understandable at all? Rashi! Right? Remember, I just read Tosfos said Rashi's wrong. Because Rashi equates hadar with run-of-the-mill hiddur mitzvah. Good. Defend Rashi for me. Explain Rashi. Defend Rashi.
But he just thinks it's qualitative. This is actual.
Come on. Come on, help me. Defend Rashi. How can Rashi say that the beauty of lulav and etrog comes from hiddur mitzvah and yet is ma'akev? Yeah, but that's not ma'akev. How can it be ma'akev?
Because the pasuk says creates hadar.
Yeah, and therefore Rabbi Yehuda says, so Tosfos says, therefore this quality of non-dryness and non-whatever is ma'akev, and we call it what? Hadar, not ze'eli vanvehu hiddur. It's a unique hadar. It's a rule to Arba Minim. How can Rashi say that the rule that you can't have a dry lulav and etrog comes from run-of-the-mill hiddur and then turn around and tell me it's ma'akev?
Was I on the right track?
Yes, but tell me. Good. So push it. Come on. It's right. Defend Rashi. Defend Rashi for me. Come on.
I'd rather defend.
You can.
Tosfos is easy. Good. Now defend Rashi.
You can't be strong.
Defend him. Don't attack him. Defend him.
Is he just talking about that Havamina?
No. Give me a. Give me. How
It
can you
says
defend Rashi?
it's definitional, but still ma'akev.
Okay, so let's tease this out. Maybe, what does he think? I've been positing, and Tosfos posits that what? That hadar is one rule, and hiddur mitzvah is a different rule. Right? And all the rules of beauty by lulav and etrog are localized. You need to lulav and etrog have nothing to do with the chiyuv of beauty and mitzvahs in general. But have you noticed how confusing it has been for me to give this year? It's only hadar. I mean, it's only hiddur. I mean, it's only hadar. I mean, it's... Right? Meaning, if I had asked a balabas on the street who never learned the sugya, and I asked you, is there a relationship between pre-eitz hadar and hiddur mitzvah, what would they have said?
Yes.
Yes. Why would they have said
It's
yes?
the same thing.
Because it literally is the same word. Right? It's only because we went through the sugya that now we're convinced that they're different. Right? Right? But
it's not the same thing.
so that's what Tosfos says. But Rashi doesn't say it. Rashi says it is.
So you're saying Rashi didn't go through the...
No. So maybe what does Rashi think? Maybe Rashi thinks something very conceptually nuanced, which is, this is hiddur mitzvah. Hadar is not different from hiddur mitzvah. What's the difference?
How you do it?
No. That because etrog is described as hadar, that which is not ma'akev in other mitzvos is ma'akev in etrog. Meaning, but I want to sharpen it. Meaning, he's saying it's not that hiddur is fundamentally different than hadar. Hadar doesn't come and say there's hiddur mitzvah and then there's hadar. What does it come and do? It says
This is
because
ma'akev.
correct that lulav and etrog, or maybe just etrog, beauty is so important to it that that which in every other mitzvah is only lechatchila is ma'akev, but fundamentally
It's still the same.
it's the same thing. Meaning that same quality of all mitzvah that you should do them in a beautiful way. Meaning he says yes, it's ma'akev, but at a conceptual level, this isn't unique to lulav or etrog. All mitzvahs have to be beautiful. The reason it's ma'akev is that hadar doesn't come and say there's a new quality called hadar. It tells you that by etrog, that which in every other mitzvah is not ma'akev, is essential in etrog, because beauty is part of the essential picture and even definition of etrog. Right? There's tzvei dimim. There's right now ki'ilu. Right? Sort of. I would push Rashi a little bit more, and I would say it's almost as if what Rashi is saying, at let's say a philosophical level, is that once a year, right, we have a mitzvah which is hadar, is hiddur mitzvah la ikuva, and what does that do? Right, at a philosophical level, that sets the tone for the rest of the year, because once a year we say you must do this mitzvah. Not stay with this because this is conceptually hard, right? Right, and then get your tea, right? What it might be saying is what? Maybe what he's saying is, look, once a year God gives us a mitzvah and He forces us to do it in a beautiful way. And what does that then educationally set us up for?
The rest of mitzvahs, though.
To know how in other mitzvahs you should do them. Now in other mitzvahs it's not as extreme, it's not ma'akev, but etrog is the paradigm which sheds light on everything else. It's just the most intense expression of hiddur, because it happens to be defined as the pre-eitz hadar. But fundamentally the principle isn't unique. It's just a more intense expression of it. Right? But it's an intense expression of the same rule that exists in all mitzvahs. Now, according to Rashi, what does Rashi clearly think? Is hadar definitional or a quality?
It's definitional.
No! Who cares? It's a quality. Right? Because it's a quality that's not only shared with lulav, what is it shared with? All mitzvot. Meaning, hadar is just another way of saying hiddur mitzvah, which is shared with all mitzvot. Most mitzvot, not li'ikuva, and uniquely in lulav and etrog, is li'ikuva. But is it a quality or is it definitional? Clearly, it's a quality, because not only is it shared with lulav, right? We said it's a quality when shared with lulav. According to him, it's shared with everything, right? It's shared with everything. And that's how I would understand now, now it is possible that once you view this as just an intensification of hiddur, then it's possible to understand the Shasat Chaksug, and this Tosfos suggests as possibility that if there were no beautiful etrog or lulav, would you be allowed to make a bracha on Shasat Chak? No. Maybe. Why? Because if it's definitional, then without that quality, is it a lulav or etrog? No. But if you think that it's an essential quality, but it's fundamentally similar in form to hiddur mitzvah, so what's...
Except that we say that here it's ma'akev.
Good. But there's one little possibility, there's one opening, which is the mashal to hiddur mitzvah might help us, because is hiddur mitzvah objective? No. What might it be? Contextual. Subjective or contextual, meaning if you're a millionaire, right, and you get a kiddush cup that's worth $5, is that hiddur mitzvah? No. If you have $5 to your name and you get a $5 kiddush cup rather than a 50-cent one, is that hiddur? Yes. Right? Meaning, yes, it's definitional to etrog, but once you understand that this might not be definitional in the way in etrog is a citrus fruit, right? But definitional in the way that it's essential, but it's essential to beautify it, then it's possible that it's essential, but also what? Contextual. Meaning that if there are non-dry estrogim around, are you allowed to use a non-one, even b'di'evet?
You mean they're not?
No, because
there are other ones.
it's essential to be beautiful. But what if there are no beautiful ones? So then, is it possible you be yotzei? Yes. Why? It's definitional. No, it's not definitional. It's essential, but it's also contextual. And if there's nothing more beautiful, then is this beautiful?
Yeah. Doesn't make it beautiful. It just
it makes it contextual. Meaning, this is why it tells us a possibility. It might be yotzei because it might be that the fact that it's essential. But what is the essential? That it be beautiful, and beauty is by definitional relative. Then it might be that there's nothing more beautiful, that even though it's essential, when there's nothing else, it's yotzei, right? That's the very complicated lamdos that Tosfos introduces, right? That it's possible that's how you understand the Shas of Chak Sugya.
Is that how
it's possible. I don't want to get into the whole Shas of Chak because there's many other positions. Now, one more Rishon here, the Ritva. The Ritva has yet a different explanation, not like Rashi, not like Tosfos. And he says the following. Tana Yavesh Pasol Amar Rava Machloket Belulav. The Rabbanan Sarbi Makshin Lulav. Esrog Yehuda Sarlo Makshin. Perish. The Af Al Gav De Kulo Minin Gomri Mehadadei. The Hadar Akule Minin Hikal Midrasei. He says something different. He says, no, maybe. Why does the Chachamim hold that Hadar applies to Lulav? Maybe he says you're wrong. We read the Gemara the way Tosfos did, which was that hadar is a quality that's shared by lulav. He says wrong. Maybe what do the Chacham hold? Pre-eitz hadar is a colon. Pre-eitz hadar, the anaf eitz avot hadar, the kapot marim hadar, the arvei nachal hadar. Meaning this is not a shared quality. What is it? It's a definition of all four. Right? Meaning the Ritva raises the possibility that maybe we're wrong. Maybe there's no quality at all. There's only a definition. There's an etrog which is just hadar, and then there are three other things which are kapot marim hadar, anfei tavod hadar, or arvei nachal hadar, and therefore this isn't a definition. And that's why it's so important. And Rabbi Yehuda said, lo shayach hadar ella be'etrog shu pri. And Rabbi Yehuda says, no, hadar doesn't describe all four, it only describes good. Right, so he says maybe this isn't about sharing a quality, it's about sharing a definition. Right, which is an even more radical way of reading this Gemara. Okay. Now I want to go a little lamdas, a little machshava for you. Right, turn to the next page. In general, hadar almost always, there's a big machlokas which I didn't give you in the Rishonim, whether hiddur mitzvah applies only in the Heftzah Shah mitzvah or also in the Maisa mitzvah. Right? Now, why would you say it only applies in the Heftzah Shah mitzvah? Because all the examples are Heftzah Shah mitzvah. How could something be hadar in... what would it mean for something to be hadar in a Maisa mitzvah? It's hard to say, right? Like, what would that mean?
You shake it in a beautiful way.
Good. Unless you think that hadar in the chefza, why is there a chiyuv of hiddur in a chefza rather?
To affect the Maisa.
To reflect the Maisa Hagavra. Right now I'm being as brisker as I've ever been. Right? I never use these terminologies. Right? Never. Good. But there's actually an inherent logic to what I just said. Not only put it in not brisker lingo. Right? Maybe, why are you obligated to put... One way of formulating hiddur mitzvah is that the Heftzah Shah mitzvah needs to be beautiful because the Heftzah Shah mitzvah needs to be beautiful. But what's another way of conceptualizing it? Why does the Heftzah Shah mitzvah need to be beautiful?
Because the Maisa mitzvah.
Because
it reflects
because the person needs to show effort. And how do you show effort? Okay. By getting a Heftzah Shah mitzvah, which is beautiful. Which means that even when you have a beautiful Heftzah Shah mitzvah, what's really going on? It's a din in the Maisa. Not really the Maisa, din in the Gavra. Right? Meaning, it shows effort on behalf of the person.
Right.
Who holds that? Rashi. Rashi is an amazing shita, where he says, in the context in the Gemara in Yoma, now we get a little bit of Yom Kippur, a little bit of Sukkah, this is why I did it. We get a little bit of Yom Kippur, a little bit of Sukkah, and a little bit of Menachot. Okay? At the end of the day in Yom Kippur, what does the Kohen Gadol do? After he finished all the avodah, he goes and he takes the sefer Torah and he brings it to the Azara and he reads the sefer Torah as if to say, everything in these psukim I did. I'm yotzei sign, people. Listen, I'm reading the psukim. You hear everything? Check. Great. And the Gemara says, "The achar kach kol echad ve'echad maybe sefer torah mibeito v'korebo kedei laharot chazuto l'rabbi." The Gemara says that, well, you know what people did? Everyone brought those private sefer Torah from their house, and they would parade them into the Beis Hamikdash and stand there as the Kohen Gadol read from his Torah. Okay, to beautify it, right? Laharot chazuto l'rabbin, right? To make a scene, right? I mean, you can imagine this is an overwhelmingly beautiful scene, right? Everyone comes out parading their sefer Torah to meet the Kohen Gadol as he reads the Torah. Okay, this is like Simchas Torah. Rashi says. Read Rashi. 14.
Laharos Naviv Shel Sefer Torah.
No Yer Shel Sefer Torah. To show the beauty of the Sefer Torah, which is hiddur mitzvah in the
Torah.
Chefza, right? In the object of the Torah. But then Rashi adds something. It says
Aliyah Shetar
Ba'aleha
Shetarech Lihis Naos B'Mitzvah.
And it is the glory of the people, shetarach lehitnaot mitzvah, they put in the effort to beautify the mitzvah. What does Rashi say?
So
It looks like hiddur mitzvah is a din in the chefza, but it's not true.
it's a medabra.
Right? The making the chefza shel mitzvah beautiful is only a hechitimtza, or in English, a means to an end. Meaning, hiddur mitzvah really isn't a din in the object. Making beautiful objects is a means by which we show that the person cares about the mitzvah. But it's really a din in the gavra. It's a din in the person that he is mehader the mitzvah. Right? It's really a din in the gavra, which is both a beautiful lumdish point and a beautiful philosophical point. Right? Now, last point, and then you can just take a break, okay? We'll just finish. We've seen Rashi's position that the hiddur mitzvah in etrog is definitional, right? Now, I said that it's possible that there's one other mitzvah like this, which is not nearly as mukhrach as etrog, but there's another possible mitzvah that's like this, and that is ksivas
Torah.
Sefer Torah. And here's the diok that Rabbi Yisraeli makes, which I'm not convinced of, but I want to show you why he says it. You can take it or leave it. 15. This is the Gemara we already saw. Look at the Gemara carefully. When the king writes the Sefer Torah, it says, "V'kosev Sefer Torah l'shmo." Tana. What is the king not allowed to do? Get it from his parents. But what's the lashon of the Gemara? So he says, what does that mean? Lo yitna'eh b'shel avotav.
Pretty.
Yeah, but why use that language? Where does that remind you of? Where's that from? Yeah, where's that lashon from? Hiddur mitzvah.
Yeah.
So what does he say? So he argues that maybe what the Gemara is telling you is that really you should be able to be yotzei with an inherited sefer Torah, but you can't because. Is it muhudar to do that? No. And maybe just like by etrog, hiddur mitzvah is definitional or essential. By Sefer Torah it is. And therefore, you should be yotzei, but why aren't you? Because you didn't do it b'hiduro. And even though normally not doing something b'hiddur mitzvah is not ma'akev, by etrog it's ma'akev, and maybe by Sefer Torah it's ma'akev. Right? And now let me give you his very complicated analysis, which I'm not sure I'm convinced of, but let me give it to you. Okay? Now, his second right is the Rashi that we just read. The Rashi says that bringing your personal Sefer Torah to join the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, what language does he use again? That same language of lihitnaot b'mitzvah, right? But here's his very radical diuk. He says the following. Remember, go back, we'll do Chazara at the beginning. According to the Ramah, according to Rashi, are you yotzei with if you buy a Sefer Torah?
Yes.
Yes. So what does the Gemara mean when it says kilu chatav mitzvah min hashuk?
Because you're not doing hiddur mitzvah.
Good. The Rama paskins that are you Yotzei if you buy a sefer Torah?
Yes.
No. He says you're not Yotzei. And what is the Taz? And what does everyone ask? Why did you ignore Rashi? Why did you ignore Rashi? So he says the following. He says maybe he understands Rashi as meaning, maybe he understood Rashi differently. Not that you're Yotzei, but it's not hiddur, but because it's not hiddur,
You're not
you're not Yotzei, because hiddur by sefer Torah is essential, just like etrog. And therefore, what is he saying? Kechotev mitzvah v'nashuk, and therefore you're not Yotzei, unless right, and therefore he says, but now coming back to our other point, then why does Rashi say you're not Yotzei? Right? If he meant you're not Yotzei, then why wouldn't you say not Yotzei? Why would he say, it's not the best mitzvah? So what's the answer? What's the answer? That maybe Rashi thinks, again, this is a big chiddush, but it's what we said by Tosfos and Lulav, which is maybe it's essential, but it's also relative. Meaning, when you say that it's essential, but it's essential because it's beautiful, then it's also relative. And therefore, what might Rashi be saying? It's a huge chiddush, that if there's no one around to write the sefer Torah, and you don't know how to write a sefer Torah, and you buy a sefer Torah, are you Yotzei? Yes. Because there's a chiyuv, there's a ma'atev chiyuv of hiddur by sefer Torah.
And to you, that's the most hiddur.
And if that's the most hiddur you can do, you're Yotzei. But if there's someone around to write it for you, and then you buy,
Then that's not.
it's not hiddur, and since it's sefer Torah, it's ma'akev. Because it's essential, but it's relative. And therefore, the way Rabbi Yisraeli suggests that the Ramah read Rashi was that it's a kiyum of hiddur, which is essential but relative, and therefore, just like Tosfos suggests that hadar is essential by lulav, but if there's nothing else, you're Yotzei because it's relative. If there's nothing else in a chami, you're Yotzei. But if you had the possibility of having someone write for you, because you lacked hiddur, and by sefer Torah it's essential and not just a regular run-of-the-mill hiddur, you're not Yotzei. That's a huge, huge chiddush. But that's the way Israeli understands sefer Torah. And I argued at the beginning, if you remember, when I mentioned this quickly, that whether or not if he's right, this might explain why there are so many ma'akev chiyuvim by sefer Torah, which are really just ways of making the sefer Torah beautiful, right? Not too big, not too small, right? I mean, all those things are clearly meant to make the sefer Torah beautiful, but they're also ma'akev. And according to the Israeli, it makes sense, because maybe hiddur mitzvah of a sefer Torah is not just an added quality like it is everywhere else, it's an essential quality similar to the way Rashi understands hiddur in etrog, which is really just every other hiddur mitzvah, but ma'akev, because of the context of etrog, requires a higher standard. Okay? That's his chiddush. I'm not sure I buy it, but, this was a little bit of Yoma, a little bit of Menachot, a little bit of Sukkah, so I figured, it might as well present his chiddush, which gets a little bit of everything that's coming up or that we've been doing. Shkoyach on a good Zman.